Bonjour, animek yesterday bizi kendiş nakaz, wakanam taman gasing and dunjaba. Hello, my name is Caleb. Would you please introduce yourself?
My name is Colin Mousseau. I'm from Canada, Ojibwe from Canada. But my real name is Kata Simpenes. That's the name that I go by. It's sacred to me. Our names are very sacred. And up in Canada, I work in the education system, work in high schools, and I travel many places helping people. Miigwech.
Oh, that's good. I got a couple questions to ask you. Could you please comment on the statement, a white man looks out across a mineral-rich mountain range and sees resources, and an Indian sees his ancestors? What do you say to that?
Well, there's many things to say about that.
Yeah.
We can start from the beginning of time. You know, when we were first here, our ancestors were first here, before contact. You know, we lived off the land.
Mm-hmm.
All the resources were there. You know, our ancestors, our grandmas, our grandpas, they always tell us, you give back something, even if it's little, whatever we take from the land, and you never overtake. Just like when we gather and harvest our plants, our medicines, we never overtake. We leave our relatives there because we have a connection with those plants. We have a connection with the trees. We have a connection with the water. All of these things that are so vital and important for our well-being and the survival of our people, of this land. Agakin, we say, the land. Kimamana Nagaki, Mother Earth. And we never overtake. You know, that's what we've always done. And we continue to do that to this day. The ones that live the traditional lifestyle. And what I mean by that is, you know, the sweat lodges, the sun dance, all these lodges that we have, the traditional people, the pipe carriers, the song keepers, the big drum keepers, all of that live this lifestyle. We understand that. We understand that lifestyle, and we understand what we take is not to be abused.
Yeah.
And we've always done that from the beginning of time. But since the time of contact, we could call it invasion, whatever you want to call it, however anyone sees that. You know, where I come from also, and also here, there was a thing, I call it a thing, put upon us to assimilate us into the mainstream society with governments, a different lifestyle. They put us, our ancestors, our grandmas, our grandpas, our uncles, aunts, in these schools, which are called residential schools, Indian schools. That changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
In the past, in the present, and the future. It's going to take a long time to heal, because it's been over 500 years since the invasion since the other people come here. But when they came here, my grandpa, my grandpa always said, and the old people always said, we helped them and looked after them when they came here. We tried to teach them, but there was others that wouldn't listen. And then the schools came about, as I was saying. The intent of those schools was to teach, but that wasn't the case. A lot of negative things happened to our ancestors, to our grandmas, our grandpas, our uncles, our aunts in those places. It's unspeakable things that happen. It was an atrocity that happened within these places.
The racism and that kind of thing?
Racism, abuse, everything that you can think of that comes with that word atrocity. In time, those schools ran for many, many years. The last one where I come from closed down in 1997, I believe. And that's a long time. That's a whole generation of an effect that is very negative. And why that was, as we see it and understand it, is because of all the riches that we have here, our resources, the water, the land, what's beneath the land. People didn't take time to think to work with the people. And it was greed that was brought about to the people. And throughout the land, all across this North America. And it did a lot of damage. They're starting to see it now. But it's not too late to fix. It's very negative.
Yeah.
But you could turn negative into a positive every time.
Mm-hmm.
But all these things that happen throughout the years, we see it, we live it. Only if you're Anishinaabe, you will understand this. Because we have spirit that is so powerful that we have that connection to the land, to the water, to the sky, the wind, everything that lives out there. We live with that. Our spirit is there with that spirit. When all these schools are being run, there was a lot of damage done. But us as pipe carriers, spiritual people, traditional people, we understand what has happened, and we reverse that. To heal, to cleanse, to understand, to learn about ourselves again, because a lot of places, why these schools were open and ran was to assimilate us, to forget all of that. That's why there's languages lost, ceremonies that are lost, many things that are lost. And over what? The resources? It doesn't make any sense. And they still do it today. This new thing, fracking, if you know what that means. They dig this big hole in the ground and they make it go sideways, dig it up, then they blow it up underground to collect whatever they think they're going to get. And it causes destruction. Once they leave that, what they make is a man-made earthquake. And that's what's been happening. In where I come from and other places, it's happening. And that's why we say, you interrupt Mother Earth. You interrupt that stage of life. It's like the four stages of life within the medicine wheel. When we're a child, in that eastern doorway, and when we become teenager, in the southern doorway, you interrupt that negativity, something's going to happen. Same thing. Even from teenager to adult, you experience negativity. And what I mean by negativity is alcohol, drugs, all these things. Language that we've been learning from the other language, which is negative. It's going to affect that lifestyle. It's going to affect the heart. It's going to affect the body. It's going to affect the mind, the body, the spirit that go with the emotions. All of these things that we talk about in our medicine wheels, they all fit in there. But if we interrupt that, things are going to happen within that lifestyle. And we come to an adult, to elders, and we heal from there, and we cleanse from there of what has happened. It's same interruption. All these things that go on with Mother Earth, clear cutting, all these things, damming up the land, all the resources that happen. Sure, it's people think it's going to sustain us. It's only sustained us for so long because we interrupted that life cycle, just like within that medicine wheel. And when that happens, things happen. Mother Earth fights back to heal. You can't just make a hole somewhere and think it's going to stay and stabilize itself. It needs to heal. All these things that are happening all across the countries. It's very disturbing. When we, as pikers, whatever we do, when we give back as tobacco, or an offering of cloth, or whatever, that's our way of saying thank you. Miigwech. We invoke spirit, because that's the way that works. It's simple. We have to feed spirit. We have to honor that spirit. We invoke that spirit to what we are doing in ceremony, to what we are doing in our everyday life. I always say, if they just took the time to understand who we are and learnt our language and understand why we turn the pipe, why we do this, do that within ceremony, I think this would be a different North America. But things happen. And like I say, it was greed. You can't have that. You take one tree, you take it down, you debark it, take all the branches off, without putting your tobacco down or your food. Something's bound to happen. And it's spiritual. Some people may think spirituality is spirits, but it isn't. Spirituality is what you take in within your heart, what comes to you. It's very sacred. This land is sacred. Our lives are sacred. We've been here since the beginning of time. I understand that, because I speak my language, our language. You know, when we speak of the dinosaurs, there's words for that. Keteoasik, that's how you say dinosaurs. When you say mammoth, Ashingwasam, that's how you say that. That's proof right there. We never crossed no Bering Strait. That's a theory. And theories are just guesses. They're assumptions. They're not the truth. The truth comes within, say, for instance, our 7 teachings. That's the truth. You know, to love, to respect, to have humility, to have that wisdom, truth, honesty. Those speak of truth. You understand that and bring that within your life. Maybe we wouldn't have all these, you know, atrocities. All these things that happen to Mother Earth, that happen to us as Anishinaabe people. When I say Anishinaabe, my understanding of that word Anishinaabe is all of the people. Like the Dakota, Lakota, Ojibwe, Cree, Mohawk. You know, some people think Anishinaabe means only Ojibwe, but no. Anishinaabe means all of the people, no matter what nation they come from, the Anishinaabe nation. So yeah, we can, you know, there are a lot of things that we can talk about. What has happened to our Kimama Ananaraki, Mother Earth, our sacred land. Because our land is sacred. You know, everything that you see around us, inside this room, outside of this room, comes from Mother Earth. Doesn't come from anywhere else. Everything that we wear, our clothes, our shoes, come from Mother Earth. You know, it didn't come from nowhere else. It didn't come from Mars. You know, so we honor her for all that she provides us with, each and every day. You know, without that, you know, things are still going to be happening if we keep taking, and not giving, and only taking to what we need.
So, would a discussion of religious themes, common to all the good place to start, themes such as protection of animals, the Garden of Eden, the Sand City of Mother Earth?
Would it be possible to get that understanding of mainstream society by starting with common themes?
It is possible, and what you're doing right here is possible. We got to start from our youth, not only from the Anishinaabe people, all nations. Our youth are what's going to make that change. You know, we got to teach our youth. We got to teach our youth of the values, the sacredness of the land. You know, we do that all across this nation, and they're going to understand that. And our youth, they are very, very strong. There's going to be some out of there that are going to be leaders, very strong leaders, and that's where that change is going to come. And they're going to have that change, and people are going to listen to them. That's where we need to start. We need to start in schools, at home, places like what you have here for the youth. Who knows? One of these youth that you work with may be a leader out there. We don't know where, and could make that change. And I say yes, because it's not too late for anything. We can do anything. It is possible. We just got to work at it, and we have to have the faith, and we put our tobacco down, we do our feast, we do our ceremonies. It'll happen. We got to teach the youth. You know, I've been working at a place for 13 years. I work with youth day in, day out, and I see it happen. There's very positive things that happen with our youth, and they learn and they understand. For the youth out there, there are two simple things you can learn in life. Very simple. It's easy to do. All of us do it every day. We'll do it all our lives. Very simple to do. The grandmas and the grandpas used to tell us, and what that means is, open your eyes and listen. That's all you have to do. But learn and understand how to do that. And you can do many, many things. You can accomplish many, many things when you learn and understand how to do that. Just open your eyes and listen. It's simple, it's easy to do. But it's up to you how you want to take that, how you want to learn from it, how you want to understand it.
So would that be kind of the responsibilities of the youth in your tribe, or is there something more, you know, for the sustainability for the next generations to come, you know?
You see, us as adults, us as grandmas, grandpas, pipe carriers, lodge carriers, we teach our youth. We teach our youth basic teachings, basic medicines, everything. We invite them to come and help. That's the way I learned from my grandma and my grandpa. You know, as I got older, I've seen and felt and experienced what was going on. I understood these things I was learning. So I took them and learned more and more. And I believe, you know, with our youth, they could accomplish and do the same thing. But it's up to the individual to learn, the youth to learn, however they want to learn. You know, but we got to engage them, because engaging is very, very crucial. That's the key. I'll give you an example. Within our school where I work, we have math. Some students struggle with math. Mm-hmm. But I developed something there within the curriculum, and it involves the teepee. The teepee has teachings. The teepee has many, many teachings of family values, but also math. You look at a teepee, the structure of it, there's base times height times width. Okay? Mm-hmm. The circular part of the teepee is pi r square, 3.14. You put those two equations together, you develop algebra. Yeah. So we bring that in with the teachings of math, and then engage the students. They want to learn more. They don't mind learning the other math after, but we still engage them within the traditions. What's important, but we also give the teachings of the family values, all those teachings that teepee holds. Same with the medicine wheel. Biology. This is too hard. I don't want to learn about the heart.
Hmm.
Okay, let's take it to a different level. You see the heart? There's 4 directions within the heart. There's 4 main arteries within the heart. Medicine wheel has 4 directions, 4 stages of life, just like that heart. The 4 main arteries represent that 4 stages of life in your development, in your sustainable development within your life as you become that child, that teenager, that adult, and that elder. They're all within the heart, and how your blood flows, your health, what you eat, what your intake of food. It's all in there. That they all work together. It's always been there. It's always been there since the beginning of the time in our teachings. We just didn't call it biology. Okay? But there's 3 other main arteries, 3 other arteries within that heart. So that's 7. And that's where the 7 teachings come in. 7 sacred teachings, 7 grandfather teachings. And we learn through our stages of life, through those teachings.
Wow.
So we engage that within education. And that's where we're going to engage our youth. And a lot of our youth are going to want to learn more. And those are the ones that are going to make that change, because they're going to understand life. And it does happen, but it's up to us, like I say, grandmas, grandpas, adults, ones that work in the teaching profession, that are going to engage that. It takes a little bit of work, but it's worth it, and it's fun. Yeah, it is fun.
So, it's kind of off subject what you said, but, talking about spirit ground earlier, sacred ground, what would be your definition of sacred ground?
Let's take sacred for now. Okay. How we see sacred. Let's take a blueberry. A blueberry is small, but what does that blueberry hold? What does it do? It grows. It has roots. Okay. But it's also medicine. You could ask any doctor. You could ask any scientist. It's good heart medicine. But we've known that all our lives. Our ancestors knew that. It's good heart medicine. Just like the strawberry. When we say strawberry, we say, Odemines. That means heart. Odea means heart. That's heart medicine. Cleanses the heart, cleanses the blood. All of these things that we have, that's out there on Mother Earth. That's the sacredness of it. It has spirit. It has that, and holds that spirit for cleansing and healing. And don't forget, it was Manitou that brought all of this to us. Creator who brought this. All of these things. We were given that language. We were given dance. We were given song. We were given ceremony from Creator to look after Mother Earth, to look after our families, to look after the water. All of what these teachings talk about. We didn't learn that from no book. Because we didn't have no books a long time ago. The land taught us. The animals taught us. The birds. Creator. All of these things that have life out there. That's who taught us these things, through that sacredness. Now the ground, we say agaking. You know, that word agaking, you can't translate that into English in one word. Many words in our language you cannot translate into one word. You have to write a book about it. That's why we understand spirit. It has many meanings of life. Those words have many, many meaning. That's why we understand it. Even those at times when a person has forgotten their language or lost their language through whatever happened, through residential schools, Indian schools, or whatever, you know, we understand that. There's something that comes upon us, but we know what it is. And that's that sacredness also. That's sacred. As we understand that English word as sacred.
That's very powerful. Could you tell us the possible future of the common ground we all share?
We see it already. We've been seeing it for well over 100 years. You know, for instance, look at the weather, the climate. All these things that happen. For instance, 2012, we're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just gotta keep doing ceremony. We gotta keep putting our tobacco. We gotta keep putting our food out. Whatever we take, we still do it. I do it every time I go and light my pipe. Or sometimes I'll just go do it, because that's my responsibility. That's my duty as a pipe carrier. To do it for all of people, for us to survive here. And also, you know, there are many nations all across this globe, this world, Mother Earth, as we know it. There are many nations out there on different lands that still do this. The black people, the white people, the yellow people, and us, the red people. There are few out there that still do it, and they understand it. It's like, you know the word racism, right?
Yeah.
In our language, there's not even a word for that. In our language, there's not even a word for war. There isn't. There's a word for a little fight, but not a word for war.
Yeah.
Or racism. Because when we're pipe carriers, and our ancestors long ago, they didn't see that. Because to live off the land, to live with Mother Nature, to understand Creator, to understand these grandfathers, grandmothers, all these spirit helpers, you don't think of that. That does not enter your heart. You don't know what that is. You know? We all help each other, but you know, it wasn't too long ago we got interrupted in our way of life, and we're lucky that you know, there was many elders that kept it a secret. and they shared with families after. But it was very secretive because you had to. Because at one time, if you spoke your language, where I come from, our grandmas and our grandpas, and this is not too long ago, if they spoke their language or did ceremony, they would get arrested and be jailed. You couldn't even leave a reservation without a pass. Now, what kind of, what is that? You ask yourself, like, what kind of people would do that to the original people here on this land? And it boils down to one thing: greed to the resources of the land. Everything that's underneath: the oil, the gas, the gold, the silver, the bronze, all of these things that we have. And what do we get from it? Nothing. They still haven't paid their rent. You don't have to put that on. But, as pipe carriers, we do what we can to the best of our ability, to the best of our knowledge, in a way where we pray for our people and the land and what our land holds to sustain us for survival.
Yeah. Can I ask another question?
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about the greed and all the problems we have. What do you think we can do to fix that?
Well, there are many things we could do. These corporate organizations, governments, they need to learn of what the land means to all nations. They need to learn about themselves. It's not always about money. It's not always about building big cities. Our cities are big enough. We don't need to get them any bigger. There's a lot of untouched land out there. And that's why we have, all these protests and blockades and all these things that happen across the countries. We just don't do it to be greedy. We do it to save humanity. But they need to understand that, and they need to learn that in a way where it'll be understanding and learning. To be calm, to listen, sit down and talk. It's called communication. Communication can do many, many things. We learned their language. We learned their ways. And I think it would be very positive for them to listen of our ways, because it's worked for us for thousands and thousands and 100,000s and millions of years. It's always worked for us.
Is there a greater sense of urgency now? With technology the way it is, what you're talking about, the fracking and the taconite mining, and it seems like there's a greater sense of urgency that all people meet.
See, the fracking and all this new stuff that's going on. They did that secretly. They didn't tell anybody how that works until someone told the general population, everybody about it, how it works. Then people stepped in. Our people, activists, because fracking is it's not good. We're having earthquakes where we shouldn't be having earthquakes. The ground is shifting. The plates are shifting. You cannot disturb what's been given to us. Where in the heck are we going to go if we split apart? We'll have two planets. No, I'm just kidding. But but it's good that it's out and we're talking about it, because that's where we're gonna make a change. Change is good. Change is good as long as you take it in a positive route. Change is good. Change is good because it depends how you take it, like in that positive way. If you take it a different route, then change is no good. But you got to be careful what you're doing. Be positive. Remember what was given to us to be here for our future. But and then again, it needs to be taught in public schools, universities, colleges. It needs to be in education, and that's where that change is going to come with our future leaders. So it's not too late. Mother Earth will work with us when we plant trees and everything else. It's been happening for a long time, and we could still do it. Okay. And there's a lot of flooding going on. I don't mind that. That's healing. You put a city where there's rivers. What do you think was there millions and millions of years ago? A great big river. In due time, that great big river is going to come back. And what's going to happen? That city is going to flood. That's what's happening right now. It's the truth. You say long ago, oh, we'll put a city here. It's beautiful here. Nice river. But they stopped to think what was here millions of years ago. A 5-mile river. And in due time, that 5-mile river is going to come back. And they're not ready for it. Okay?
Is that it?
Is there anything else you'd like to answer?
I'll say it again, and it's our youth. Because a lot of us are getting up in age, and a lot of our elders are gone already, and we need to continue teaching. We need to continue sharing and caring of the land, of each other, of all nations. Because everybody lives with us here now. And we all need to work together. That's where that change is going to become. And it's going to come from our youth. But we need to teach our youth. With that, I'll say, miigwech.
Thank you for your time.
Karen would say, cool beans.
What you're doing right here is possible. We're going to start from our youth, not only from the Anishinaabe people, all nations. Our youth are what's going to make that change. You know, we got to teach our youth. We got to teach our youth of the values, the sacredness of the land. You know, we do that all across this nation. And they're going to understand that. And our youth, they are very, very strong. There's going to be some out of there that are going to be leaders, very strong leaders. And that's where that change is going to come. And they're going to have that change. And people are going to listen to them. That's where we need to start. We need to start in schools, at home, places like what you have here for the youth. Who knows? One of these youth that you work with may be a leader out there. We don't know where, and could make that change. And And I say yes because it's not too late for anything. We can do anything. It is possible. We just got to work at it, and we have to have the faith, and we put our tobacco down, we do our feast, we do our ceremonies. It'll happen. We got to teach the youth. You know, I've been working at a place for 13 years, and I work with youth day in, day out, and I see it happen. There's very positive things that happen with our youth, and they learn, and they understand. For the youth out there, there are 2 simple things you can learn in life. Very simple. It's easy to do. All of us do it every day. We'll do it all our lives. Very simple to do. The grandmas and the grandpas used to tell us, and what that means is, open your eyes and listen. That's all you have to do. But learn and understand how to do that. And you can do many, many things. You can accomplish many, many things when you learn and understand how to do that. Just open your eyes and listen. It's simple. It's easy to do. But it's up to you how you want to take that, how you want to learn from it, how you want to understand it.
So would that be kind of the responsibilities of the youth in your tribe, or is there something more, you know, for the sustainability for the next generations to come, you know?
You see, us as adults, us as grandmas, grandpas, pipe carriers, lodge carriers, we teach our youth. We teach our youth basic teachings, basic medicines, everything. We invite them to come and help. That's the way I learned from my grandma and my grandpa. You know, as I got older, I've seen and felt and experienced what was going on. I understood these things I was learning. So I took them and learned more and more. And I believe, you know, with our youth, they could accomplish and do the same thing. But it's up to the individual to learn, the youth to learn however they want to learn. You know, but we got to engage them, because engaging is very, very crucial. That's the key. I'll say it again, and it's our youth. Because a lot of us are getting up in age, and a lot of our elders are gone already, and we need to continue teaching. We need to continue sharing and caring of the land, of each other, of all nations. Because everybody lives with us here now, and we all need to work together. That's where that change is going to become. And it's going to come from our youth. But we need to teach our youth. With that, I'll say, miigwech.
Thank you for your time.